Yesterday I did a video. Go check it out because it will go with this video today. How Donald Trump said that he wants to be Pope, and he also shared himself, AI generated picture of himself as Pope. Go watch that after you've watched this video. He's going to join just this once under him. I'm telling you, he's the final president. Pope Francis, many say, like the St. Malachi prophecy, he was the final Pope. You might have heard about that. The final Pope prophecy of Pope Francis being the last Pope. Okay? Trump said he wants to be Pope. It's not a joke. He also goes on to say we have a cardinal coming from New York. Donald Trump's from New York. Okay? Now listen, just hear me out. Listen to what I got to say today. It makes sense. Okay? Donald Trump has also said in a recent interview that I'm going to play now, that he's going to forget about the separation between church and state just this once. Okay? Watch.
I created a historic White House faith office in the West Wing, and that's going to be an office that's been very well. I see already you have a lot of people going back and forth, and that's good. That's what we want, to defend and represent people of all faiths and their religious freedoms at home and abroad. You know, they work right out of the White House. They've never done that. That's never been done before. No other president allowed that. I think, they say separation. They say separation between church and state, they told me. I said, all right, let's forget about that for one time.
The separation between church and state, let's forget about that just this one time. Okay? He also said this to Christians. You only have to vote this once. We'll have it all fixed for you. 4 years from now, you will not have to vote again. I love Christians, okay? My beautiful Christians. Vote just this once. Because he's going to be the final leader of a revived Roman Empire. He's going to form a Roman Empire. And in this video, you're going to see that they're forming the Club of Rome, 10 nations, okay? They're going to form the Club of Rome, unite church with state, and Trump's going to be the head of it all. And he's going to be the new Julius Caesar. Watch, it will make sense in this video. So he's just said he's going to do away with the separation of church and state, which, by the way, breaks the First Amendment of the Constitution. Okay? It's going to, because you're not allowed to join church and state. Now listen to what he says to the Christians.
We have to win this election, most important election ever. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Did you hear that? He's specifically addressing the Christians. Why? Because it's the Christians that are going to oppose him as the last final leader of the Roman Empire. The Christians are the ones that are going to stand for Christ and go against him. That's why he's saying, Christians, we'll have it all fixed for you, Christians. Don't worry, Christians. It's the Christians that the Roman Empire always killed and persecuted. And it's going to happen again. Jesus says, right, the deadly wound was healed and all the world wondered after the beast. Right? So, we're told, Jesus says in a verse that I'm going to tell you in a minute, that the one that's holding him back, the man of lawlessness, I'm not saying it's Trump, but it looks, just watch the video. The one that's holding him back is restraining him until he's removed out of the way, and then the wicked's being revealed. There was a prophecy of St. Malachi saying Pope Francis was the final pope. And I think the prophecy, I can't remember when it was from, 19 something, hundreds or something, I can't remember. Could be wrong about that. There was a prophecy of Malachi saying Pope Francis is the final pope. Okay? And he said that would precede the end of the world and the return of Christ. So Pope Francis has died recently, and now Trump's saying that he wants to be pope. And he's also the head of the state because America's the superpower. So if he becomes the head of the Catholic Church, the Vatican, and he joins church with state, okay, and then he forms the Club of Rome, 10 nations, which is why he wants to take Greenland and why he also wants Canada to become a part of America. Right? He wants Canada, he wants Greenland. Because they are forming, Putin's going to take Ukraine, Putin's going to take Poland, and they're going to start taking the land. And it's going to be through war. You think it's just random, senseless war. The whole world does, but they don't understand what's happening. They're forming the Roman Empire, and they're using wars to do it. And strategy. So Trump's going to take Greenland, Trump's going to take Canada, Putin's going to take Poland and all the land up there. You can see on the map of the Club of Rome, that's why he attacked Ukraine, and that's why he's going to go for Poland next. Mark my words, because they're forming 10 kings out of all of it. Out of the whole world, they're forming 10 nations, 10 kings, which are the 10 toes on the image of Daniel that Jesus destroys, which is a revived Roman Empire, the feet of iron and clay. Okay? They're forming it, the Roman Empire, the Club of Rome. The 10 toes on the image of Daniel that Jesus destroys when he returns to earth, that he dashes to pieces, is the 10 nations they're forming now. Greenland, Canada, Trump, Putin, Ukraine, Poland, and so forth. 10 nations is being formed to hand their power and authority to the one world leader, the beast, the man of sin. And if Trump unites the church with the state, okay, you got your final one world leader dictator. The beast rises out of the sea, which is America on the map. The beast rises out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And we're told in Daniel that this man that will come is boastful. He's a loudmouth. He looks more stout than his fellows, and he's talking great things and flatteries. Sounds like Donald Trump. Rising out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, the Club of Rome being revived. They hand their power to him. He joins church with state, revived Roman Empire, which is why Elon Musk said that he thinks about the Roman Empire every day. And he keeps visiting the Colosseums. And he keeps looking at the Roman statues. And he even did, as you will see on the screen, the Roman salute. People think that that was a Nazi salute from Hitler, but Hitler and the Nazi Germany came out of the Roman Empire. The salute that Hitler did, the same salute that Elon done not long ago, is a Roman salute. Same can be said for the eagle over America. You see the eagle on the flag, above the flags, the eagle. That eagle is Roman. It's a Roman eagle from the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, okay, is going to be revived by Donald Trump. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so, right? We are clearly told where the beast, the man of sin, rises from. The sea. Look on the map, where is out in the sea? You will see America. The little horn comes out. Little boastful man. That's what Daniel calls him. He says he's more stout than his fellows. He looks different, slightly big and plump, and he's speaking great things and flatteries. Who does that sound like to you? Donald Trump. Geographically, where does it rise from? The sea. America. Okay? The eagle over America is Roman. As you'll see here in a picture, there's the Roman eagle. There's the American eagle. There's the Nazi eagle. The eagles are Roman. And as I said, Elon Musk did the Roman salute. The same as Hitler, the same as the Roman Empire. Okay? Church and state joined. Club of Rome, 10 nations formed through wars and through land grabbing. Hand their power to the one world leader, the man that will come, the man of sin, that rises from the sea. And forms the Roman Empire. Now, how do I know it's the Roman Empire? Well, we're told, aren't we? What the beast that you saw, what you saw once was, and then it was not, and then it will come again and go to its destruction. So what are they telling us in the Bible? What's he telling us? It once was, the Roman Empire once was in the time of Jesus, and then it was not. Our period now that we're in, and a little bit before. It once was the Roman Empire, then it was not. It's not anymore, and will come again and go to its destruction. The 10 toes that Jesus destroys on the image of Daniel is the 10 nations being formed now, the Club of Rome. All of it, including the joint church and state done by Trump, will be handed to him. New Julius Caesar. People say you're crazy. You don't know that. How does that not make sense to you? I've explained it. They're doing Roman salutes. They've got Roman eagles in America. They're Roman. And yes, the royal family from the UK are also Roman. They're Germans. And the Germans come out of the Roman Empire. They were part of it. We saw Hitler. No one else is going to tell you this. I'm literally giving you evidence, okay? There are 10 toes of iron and clay on the image spoken of in Daniel, which are the final 10 toes, which are 10 kings, 10 kingdoms, who for 1 hour have authority with the beast. He's going to rule the world, okay? He's going to be boastful. He's going to have an ego. He's going to look different to all his fellows. And I just shown you a minute ago, what did he say? We should do away with the separation of church and state.
I think, they say separation. They say separation between church and state, they told me. I said, all right, let's forget about that for one time.
And he's also said that he wants to be Pope. He posted this. He wants to be Pope, which I'm going to show you now. He also says, Christians, get out and vote just this once. You won't have to vote again. I've just shown you that. You won't have to vote again. We'll have it all fixed for you in 4 years' time. Look at these banners they've got. Project, Trump project, right? 2028 and beyond. Trump, third term. Look closely on his head. Let me zoom in on it. Roman wreath of leaves round his head. Roman emperor coming. Elon Musk has been speaking about the Roman Empire, and he did the salute speech after Trump's inauguration, and no one understands. They think he's doing a Nazi salute. It's a Roman salute. He thinks about the Roman Empire every day. Okay? Now listen to what Trump says about wanting to be the Pope and how it would be his first choice. Well, of course. Because if St. Malachi's prophecy was right and Francis was the final Pope that would precede the end of the world, then the man of sin will step in, fill the spot, and unite church and state. Revived Roman Empire, the deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
As Pope? I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice. No, I don't know. I have no preference. I must say we have a cardinal that happens to be out of a place called New York who's very good. So we'll see what happens.
He knows full well. He knows. And he knows that the world doesn't know. Did you hear that? Pope? I'd like to be Pope. It would be my number one choice. And then he throws it off and then he goes, no. He goes, we just so happen to have a cardinal in New York. So we'll see. Where's he from? Where's Trump from? New York. Hello? Rome. The Vatican's in Rome, in Italy. And he's just said he'd like to be Pope. It'd be his number one choice. And he has a cardinal from New York. He's speaking about himself. It's gone over your head. He's just said it. He's speaking about himself coming out of New York. I told you, the beast rises from the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The sea is America. America's in the sea. Look on the Statue of Liberty and look at the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By the way, it's called the Apple, New York. The city of New York, the Apple. You know, the forbidden fruit. Adam and Eve, the Apple. All the celebrities, okay? People like Russell Brand. Just bit into an apple. Sold themselves to the beast to get all of the fame and fortune in the world. All of the celebrities did it. I know how. I'm not going to show you how, but I know how they did it. They did it through Kundalini, Hinduism, Buddhism. Okay, they've done through meditation and all these occult practices. They've managed to do something up here within the brain, hitting that gland, makes them become like God. The original life in the Garden of Eden, the tree being the brain, and the forbidden fruit, the apple, being the third eye, the gland. The occultists know this, and that's what the 33-degree Freemasons know, that you don't. But you do not do it. Jesus Christ is Lord. But that's the point here. It's coming out of New York. He's coming out of New York. The apple. Right? All the fame and all the wealth, the great city. New York. All the wealth, where it all comes from. Trade on the sea. New York. All the kings commit fornication with her and grew rich. New York. Trump. So you just heard him say. So let's quick recap, right? He said at the beginning of this video, if you want to go back, they're going to do away with the separation of church and state and join them. That's what he said. Let's just do away with it just this once. Yeah, because you're the final leader, aren't you? You're the final one that the Lord's going to destroy with the brightness of his coming. Possibly. I think you are. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm wrong, but I think you are. And you also said to Christians, you specifically come at the Christians and said, Christians, vote this once, we'll have it fixed for you. Oh yeah, fixed. The Roman Empire, right? You're going to rebuild it, fix it. Revive Roman Empire, the deadly wound's going to be healed. Which, by the way, you being shot in the ear was symbolic, wasn't it? Showing the world that the deadly wound is going to heal. You're going to heal the Roman Empire, aren't you? And Elon Musk is doing the Roman salute. And the Roman eagle is on the flags and on your logo. Not clever enough for me, because I know the Bible. And I do my research. I know, you can't fool me, you cannot deceive me. Okay? You're going to form the Club of Rome. You're going to rise from the sea. From the place they call the Apple, New York. And you're saying you want to be Pope, and you're saying the Cardinal's coming out of New York. You're talking about yourself. You're going to unite church and state, and the Club of Rome that's being formed through wars by Russia, and you taking Greenland and Canada. 10 kings are going to be formed, and they're going to hand their power and authority to the beast. To you, for 1 hour, for 42 months. And your right-hand man, the false prophet, okay, Mr. Elon Musk, or whoever the false prophet is going to be, is going to enforce the mark of the beast, which is going to be a chip inside the hand and a chip inside the head, a digital system, a digital economy. Okay? It's going to come out of there, isn't it? So that's what's going to happen. Okay? That's what I believe is going to happen. So I believe, that's my cat in the background, please just ignore him. He's been meowing all morning. I'm going to get this video on, it's important. So there will be more videos coming in the future about this topic because it's very serious. Because I believe Donald Trump, and I've been saying it for ages, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. I can take being wrong. I can take criticism. Okay? But I truly believe something keeps telling me. I keep thinking about it in my head. Okay? I keep thinking that Trump is going to be the final one world leader and he's going to revive the Roman Empire. It's coming out of America, which is out of the sea. And I truly believe they're going to revive the Roman Empire. And when I heard him say, let's forget about church and state being separate, he wants to join church with state. Okay? And then I remembered that the prophecy of St. Malachi of Pope Francis being the final pope. And I remembered this image here where they have in the Vatican all the pictures of the popes and there's one final space left to fill. And then it reminds me of this verse where he says here, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Pope Francis. And then that wicked be revealed, who the Lord will destroy with the spirit of his mouth and with the brightness of his coming. And then the verse goes on to say, doing off the top of my head, he whose coming is after the workings of Satan with all signs and lying wonders and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness, written in Thessalonians. So only he who now letteth will let until he's taken out of the way. Is that the prophecy of St. Malachi? Is that Pope Francis being took out of the way? And then Trump comes out on the stage and he says, as I've shown you earlier in the video at the beginning, let's do away with the separation of church and state. Pope Francis dies, Trump's saying we're going to unite the church with the state. And he's also saying he wants to be Pope and he's got a cardinal coming out of New York. He's from New York. I haven't heard anybody on YouTube talking about this. Okay, guys? I think that Donald Trump is going to be the final leader. I think he's going to be, because I know Daniel says he's a little horn. He looks stout to everyone else and he's boastful, speaking flatteries and great things. The little horn is Donald Trump. Right? And then could be Donald Trump. And then he's also represented as a lion. He looks like a lion. Okay? Right? And I think that he's going to be the new Julius Caesar. We're also told that he will honour a god of fortresses, or he will honour a god that he had not known. So what god is that? Well, in Trump's tower, Trump's apartment, he has pictures of Apollo, of Apollyon, a Greek Roman god, on his ceiling, on his wall. So not only is he what the characteristics of Daniel, is he fulfilling them, but he's actually got Apollyon, in his house on pictures and on the ceiling. Now we're told in Revelation, now this is mind-blowing, it's amazing. They had a king over them called Abaddon, but in Greek and Hebrew, it was Apollyon. Abaddon, Apollyon, Apollo. Okay? The same one that Jesus is talking about in Revelation, we have a king over us called Apollyon. Apollo, the moon landing, it's America, Apollo. They had Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed with the American shorts on. It's America. Jesus says in Revelation, they had a king over them called Apollyon. Apollo. Trump has pictures of him, Apollo. He honours the god Apollo. He's got pictures of him in his house, on the ceiling as well. Okay? Guys, Trump's got something to do with Apollo. He's a Greek Roman god from the time of like Alexander the Great. I'm telling you guys, it's Donald Trump. He's gonna form the Roman Empire. The wound's gonna be healed. And the reason he's calling out the Christians to get out and vote is because he wants the Christians to vote for him. He's got this Christian movement, but they don't realise who they're following. You've got loads of Christians following Trump. Yeah? They're being deceived. Because they're following the one that's going to revive the Roman Empire. Okay? You've got Christians running around wearing MAGA hats, Make America Great Again, And when you research MAGA, it's the 5th degree in the Church of Satan. The highest magician is MAGA. And I'm going to cover this, I'm going to cover this in the next video, because I've got footage of Abrina Abramovic, or whatever her name is. She says that Trump's going to awaken the world, and he's the highest magician that's coming, that's going to awaken the world. I'm telling you, there's a great deception coming on this earth. MAGA, Make America Great Again, is the 5th degree in the Church of Satan. Trump is the highest degree Satanist in the Church of Satan. And the Christians don't know that. They're following the MAGA movement. Okay? He says Christians get out and vote just this once because he wants Christians to vote for him because it's the Christians that would oppose him. We would stand for Jesus Christ, right? And if he tried to force us to worship his image or tried to force us to worship him, we're not going to. We'll go to our deaths and say, no, Jesus is Lord. Okay? As all the prophets did in the Bible, they followed Jesus. His sheep heard his voice and they followed him. The Roman Empire killed some of the prophets. Peter was crucified upside down. They crucified Jesus. So Jesus went first and led his sheep out. Then the prophets went, and then he says, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me, which is us now listening to him through the Bible, and they're going to revive the Roman Empire, and we're going to have to follow behind the prophets that were following Jesus. To the grave, we're going to be resurrected. Death, burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ, the gospel that saves. But Christians are being deceived by this MAGA movement and Trump. Telling you guys, keep an eye on Trump. He is going to form the Roman Empire, and him being shot in the head was just showing the world. It's symbolic. They have to show you before they do it. The deadly wound was healed. It's not an actual head wound. It's talking symbolically about the Roman Empire. It once was, then it was not, and will come again and go to its destruction. The deadly wound was healed, and all the world will wonder after the beast. The Roman Empire revived by Donald Trump and the 10 kings. Now, people will say, well, what about King Charles? What about the royal family? They're a part of it. They're going to be a part of the revived Roman Empire. King Charles invited Donald Trump for dinner, trying to please him. Okay? I'm telling you guys, it's... What can I do? I can only, you know... A lot of people like to throw names around and say, well, it could be him, it could be him, it could be him. Look, I've shown you today what they're doing. The Club of Rome's being formed, which is why Putin attacked Ukraine. Okay? Which is why Trump wants to hand Ukraine over to Putin. Which is why we had the malarkey with Zelensky. They're working together to form the Club of Rome, which are the final 10 toes on the image of Daniel that Jesus destroys. They're 10 kings that will give their power to Trump. And he's going to join church and state. If you can't understand, if he joins church and state and they form the Club of Rome 10 kings and they hand their power to Trump, if you can't understand that that's the revived Roman Empire, you need to understand this. He's got a cardinal that's in New York. Why would they need a cardinal from New York? Rome is in Italy, not New York. The things he's saying, the things he's posting, should be raising eyebrows. Okay? I did a video yesterday, covered the whole thing about him wanting to be the Pope, posting things about himself being the Pope. And in the past, he's posting golden idols of himself, statues erected in Gaza, which is Jesus Christ's land. Jesus says that when he returns to earth, they had divided up his land. The strip of Gaza and all that belongs to Israel, which is Jesus' land. He says that the prince to come will separate up his land for personal gain. He's just said not long ago that America's going to own Gaza. He's going to turn it into the Riviera. He's going to take over Gaza. The man that will come will divide up Jesus' land for personal gain. Trump is fulfilling it. Show me other leaders that are doing what he's doing. He's doing it all. Not to mention Elon Musk and all that doing the Roman salute. Okay? You think King Charles is important? You think all these other leaders are important? Why did all the billionaires, the richest men on the planet, show up at Trump's inauguration then? All the technocrats that invented everything that you use every day in your life. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, Elon Musk, SpaceX, microchips in the head, all these different things. Buys Twitter, freedom of speech. Mark Zuckerberg pushing technology, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media the whole world's addicted to. These richest men on the planet, the billionaires pushing tech in the human body, showed up at Trump's inauguration because they're the ones that are going to push the mark of the beast, controlling buying and selling through the hand and the head. I covered in this video here about the mark of the beast, Mark Zuckerberg technology. Their technology is they're putting it on the body. They're going to do away with phones and TVs and all that and physical screens. And they're going to put it on your body. It's going to be smart glasses. You're going to watch TV through the glasses. You're going to be able to make calls on your smartwatches through your glasses. They're doing away with phones. They've said phones are going to be obsolete. And Neuralink, the brain chip's leading the way. Trump's got in. He's going to join church with state. And with Russia and everyone form the Club of Rome. Okay, the 10 toes on the image of Daniel that Jesus destroys. And then they're going to push his mark, the mark of the beast, which are going to be technology chips. And in the future, there will be an image set up of him or some kind of image when they force the will to worship it. And those who do not worship the image are put to death. Read the book of Revelation. Read Matthew. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and will kill you. No one's ready. No one's ready. And I'm trying to help people on this channel, but YouTube don't want to push my videos because YouTube hates me. 30 views a video out of 8 billion people. So I'm not being pushed. And I'm telling you the truth. Something's going on. What evidence do you have for the people that you think it is? What evidence you got? Not as much as I've gave you in this video. I've actually got things that make sense. Join the church and state, form the Club of Rome, 10 kings, give their power to him for 1 hour, physical mark pushed by the technocrats. Done. One world leader, mark of the beast, future image. Done. Simple, easy. That's all he's got to do. And then somehow convince Israel that he's their Messiah. And they've already given an award calling him the Prince of Peace, saying that he is their Messiah. You need to read this, the award they gave him, Donald Trump, and they've labelled him the Prince of Peace. Jews surrounding him, the Sanhedrin, saying he's been elected for a heavenly purpose. And they're going to sign Noahide laws. And the Noahide laws will kill every believer in Jesus Christ by beheading, decapitation. I'm not making this up. I've done my research and I can show you everything. But I don't have time to put it all in one video. So I will have to make multiple. There will be another video coming about the Noahide law. Okay? This one's about the revived Roman Empire that they're bringing and it's coming out of America. Donald Trump uniting church and state should have raised... You should be thinking now, hang on, what? But they're not, you're not. Because Jesus says he's going to send strong delusion and you're all going to believe the lie. Because you believe not the truth. A pleasure in unrighteousness. Got Christians following Trump in the MAGA movement. Why? He's not a Christian. He honours the god Apollo, as I've shown you earlier. Apollyon, which is a Greek-Roman god. He's not a Christian. So why, Christians, are you following him? They're wolves in sheep's clothing in that White House faith office. They're not Christians. They're not real believers in Jesus. They're all about this. Money, money, money. Paul White. Give me £1,000 and God will give you spiritual blessings. Yeah, like God needs you to give people spiritual blessings. He'd just give it to them himself. You're just taking that off people. False prophets in the White House. Paul the White, the Faith Office, false prophets. The man who set it up that's leading it is God's Apollyon, Apollo, which is Greek-Roman God. Not Yahuwah, not Jesus Christ. I think that's it for this video. I'm going to give you the gospel. Because he's forming the Roman Empire. I'm telling you guys, keep an eye on him. And keep an eye on his church and state business, the Vatican, America. Keep an eye on it. 1 Corinthians 15, 3-4. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received. How that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures. And that he was buried. And that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures. The gospel that saves death, burial, resurrection. Jesus Christ. My sheep hear my voice. I know them. And they follow me. Where did he go? Death, burial, resurrection. He who believes in me, though he die, yet he shall live. Romans 3:23-24. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Death, burial, resurrection. My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. First he went to open the gate. Then he led his sheep out of the gate. And then he walks ahead. My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. Where do we hear his voice? The Word of God, the Holy Bible. When they revived the Roman Empire and forced you to take a mark and worship an image, you hear Jesus' voice. You follow him. Where did he go? Where did the prophets go? Death, burial, resurrection. Remember that. And don't tell me it's not that, because we're told, then they will deliver you up to persecution and will put you to death. Death, burial, resurrection. Sheep follow Jesus. We don't follow Trump or the government. We follow Jesus. They're going to revive the Roman Empire. And you're all going to be deceived and follow and wander after the beast, like it says. You're going to worship the beast and follow the beast, the whole world, because you don't understand. Death, burial, resurrection, the gospel of Jesus Christ that saves. His sheep follow him. Where? To the grave. Remember that when they imprison you because you won't take their mark or bow to the government and the state. Yes, the church is going to make you bow to the state, the government. There will be more on this topic coming in the coming days. I'm Soldier God, signing out.